5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32.
Alright, so we're back out here again, bright and early. We're going to do a little bit more snow skating to test out the rock steady mode on the DJI Osmo Action. Now, it is 29 degrees out here, but that's why I got the device, because it is, with a caveat, one of the only action cameras that has a usability all the way down to -10 degrees Celsius, which translates to 14 degrees Fahrenheit freedom units, so we are good to go in that department. I'm using a slightly different setup than I had last time. As you've seen before, I've been using a cage with a mounted microphone on top. We're not doing it this time, but I am very skeptical of this setup. I was really excited because I didn't want to use a cage. I wanted to have a tiny setup I could take anywhere I want. That being said, this is fairly unstable for my liking, but we'll give it a shot anyways, and you will see what I mean in a few seconds here. Alright, boys and girls, so this is the DJI Osmo Action in its HDR mode. Now, the reason that I filmed it in that said location was because the light was awful. Obviously, we're going to have some trouble with white balance because it's winter, surrounded by snow, and that was shaded, so really have to push the dynamic range of this little action camera. So hopefully it looked alright. Now we are still in HDR mode. 40K at 30 frames per second, mind you, and we're gonna be walking. So hopefully this looks all right. All right, so I have to use my pocket to film this, but it's just a little side note. There is a glare and delay on the front facing monitor when I'm talking and filming here. I don't know if you can see it, but I surely can. I don't know if it's because it has a low battery or it always does this, but we'll keep using it and I will report back. So my personal opinion, I think the DJI Osmo Action is in a league of its own if we're talking about vlogging or filming yourself. Now, it has a low operating temperature, which is useful for me because it's -40 where I'm at one day, -40 the very next. It's a consistent performer. I mean, there's no other camera on the market this cheap that does what the DJI Osmo Action can. Now, if we're talking about specs, you have 4K at 60 frames per second, full HD at 240 frames per second, HDR mode, time-lapse mode, and you can just film yourself right out of the box. You have 2 screens. Now, you can do that with the GoPro Hero 8, but you need a media mod if you want to see yourself. And this is at the price of a GoPro Hero 7 right now, so I think it is a viable, if not the best option in 2020 for an action camera. The DJI Mimo app works very well. There's built-in Wi-Fi on the Action, so you can use your smartphone to compose images, set the device anywhere you want, and look at your framing. I think the DJI Osmo Action is a great A camera if we're talking about filming. Okay, so let me just end it there. Alright, so key points here. 4K 60 frames per second, Full HD, HDR mode, 2 facing screens, cheap mods that you can use to cater to whatever filmmaking preference you need. The Wi-Fi and the DJI Mimo app works fantastically. For the price of a GoPro Hero 7, the DJI Osmo Action is a stellar performer. It's a great option if you just want to vlog or an action camera. The quality of the video is great. There are downsides. I'm not a fan of Decent-alike. I think it's too grainy. I also don't like the little lag that you get on the front-facing screen, but these are just minor little details. No camera's perfect, but the DJI Osmo Action is a great choice in 2020 if we're talking about all-around vlogging cameras that you can just keep in your pocket. That said, we are going to break away from all of these little action camera whatever videos for a little bit. I do have a bunch of different DSLRs, maybe even film cameras that we can test out in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you back here very soon. Bye.